Right, sorry for the bit of a delay between the last one, but yeah, it's time for another deathmatch. The new reigning champion is the Bile Giant variant of the Magma Giant. There we go, heralding from the squamous depths of the belly of the beast. So put that fella, tipping forward a bit. There we go. Put that fella over there. And then Chris's suggestion as to who we go up against it was something else in the belly of the beast. Was in fact, there we go, the Gastral Tyrant. I've actually, not been using the Gastral Tyrant myself because I felt it didn't have good odds. But Chris's belief, that so far not been too far wrong, is that the fact that it has condition tokens, status tilt tokens, anything that has those seems to have an advantage in these death matches. So yeah, here we go with the Magma Giant. For basically bring it back down. So I can't really see it up there, can you? Bring it back down. There we go. So only 3 attacks, only doing 3 damage per attack, but it of course rolls d8s, and if it hits a 7 or more, it effectively basically does a crit as well as putting a status effect. The Bile Giant variant of it actually does 1 less combat, so it only has 2 dice, but an extra damage to go to 4, and it puts bleeding counters on. And I must have realised I'd completely forgotten the last time round that apparently, oh no, it was elite, that's why. Sorry, I thought I'd forgotten the last bit about spewing bar, but that's only an elite ability. But anyway, so -1 combat, +1 damage, -1 defence, which gives it only a defence of 2. Unfortunately, the Gastral Tyrant, there we go, look at the Gastral Tyrant, bit shiny there, but there we go. The Gastral Tyrant only does 2 damage, so it's just not going to be able to get through the toppling forward Bile Giants. Defense. But the Gastral Tyrant, in much the same way, has an ability to put out status tokens. In this case, the Tyrant puts out poison. And normally, the more poison a hero has on them, the more attacks they get, which is going to happen, but the attacks aren't going to be able to hurt the Bile Giant, because even with defense of 2, the Gastral Tyrant's damage of 2 just isn't going to get through. So the question is going to be, can the Magma Giant beat up the Tyrant before it basically just gets poisoned to death? Because the poison is the start of activation, it sprays paralytic toxin, hero within 4 range, blah blah, it's got a template, blah, and every hero touched by the template takes 3 toxin hits. Normally you'd be making a defense roll, but what we've been doing in these death matches, we haven't been making defense rolls, we've just been going off their normal defense. So that means it's not, so the Bile Giant isn't going to pass its defense roll every time, so it's just going to get hit with 3 poisons every single time. So the question is the Bile Giant going to be able to beat up the Gastral Tyrant and basically bleed it to death before the Tyrant poisons the Bile Giant to death? Well, that's basically, so that's going to be our scenario. The Gastral Tyrant is also immune to critical hits, so whilst the Magma Giant may get a 7, that's not going to do any, basically the extra damage, so it's only going to apply the bleeding. So this could be quite long, because the +1 damage is going to be the only way it's going to deal damage. It's going to do 1 damage on every hit, even if it gets a 7 or 8. So it is going to be the battle of the bleeding versus the poison. I must say, I'm still with the Bile Giant on this, even though it has less health, basically 30 versus 35. I think it's going to basically be faster than the Gastral Tyrant. Anyway, let's start. Start with the Gastral Tyrant. First activation, paralytic toxin. There isn't anything in 4 tiles, so it doesn't do that. It just runs up, gets all in the Bile Giant's face, and then tries to do its combat attacks. But it's not going to do. It can't do damage because their damage is 2. The Bile Giant's defense is 2, so it doesn't die. So that's it for this turn. The Bile Giant will then have its 2 attacks, which causes 1 wound. That's it. Start of the next turn, the Bile Giant does its paralytic toxin, spits out 3 poison onto Bile Giant. 1, 2, 3. Bile Giant does its turn, it rolls for its poison, it's got 3 dice. Okay, so the 4 there does nothing, those two do 2 wounds. And then it tries to punch the Gastral Tyrant. 1 wound. That's round 2. Round 3. Another 3 poison get put on it, so it now has to roll 6 when it comes around to the Bile Giant's turn. Oh, look at that, it gets rid of 4, but takes a wound. There we go. And then punches the Gastral Tyrant. Misses. Round 4 we now? Yeah, round 4. Another 3 poison. Has to roll 5 dice. So it loses 1, but takes 2 wounds, because it's 1 and 2, so the wound 6 is you lose it. So it loses 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, but takes a wound, and then swings back at the Tyrant for a wound, which also does a bleeding. Okay, round 5, I think. I've lost count. Anyway, next round. 3 more poison, 7 to roll. So take 1 wound, lose 2. Okay, and then swing. Oh, that's 2 hits, 2 wounds, but also 2 bleeding. So we go to, yeah, so we go to 5 and 2 bleeding. Okay, another 3 poison lands. And we're rolling 8 dice. So 1 poison damage and 1 poison is removed. Swing back on the Tyrant. 2 misses. 3 more poison. So we've now got 10 dice to roll. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, these poisons are racking up. I mean, obviously, because of the way they work, you're always going to hopefully accrue them faster than you discharge them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe all those poisons are eventually going to take a toll. So that's 1, 2, 3 poison damage, 1 poison removed. And 1 removed. 3 wounds. Yeah, I suppose the question is, can it do that before the time just keels over from all these bleeding tokens? 2 wounds. Next turn, so another 3 poison, rolling 12. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, so 2 poison tokens are removed. But 6 damage is taken. Takes it up to 15 out of its 30. So it's halfway there. So we're halfway there on the Bile Giant, but of course it's going to accelerate its wounds as time goes on, whereas the Gastral Tyrant is going to roughly pick up the same per time. The Gastral Tyrant is 7 wounds, 3 effective from bleeding, so 16, so it's just under half. So yeah, so it might go the Gastral Tyrant, Tyrant's way. Let's do the 2 attacks. A wound and a bleeding. Maybe I spoke too soon. And then 3 more poison. 13 to roll. 2 poison removed. And 3 wounds. Swings back. Just a wound. 3 more poison. 14 to roll. 12, 13. 1 and 2 removed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds taken. Swings back. 1 wound and a bleeding. Oops, so that goes to 5. So we're 10 wounds left here, and we are 7 wounds left over there. Okay. Right. So poison, 12 ice. Oh no, 3 more first. So we go to 15. 6, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 removed, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wounds. So we are what? That is 25. That is 28 out of 30. He is probably going to be dead on the next one. So swing at the Gastral Tyrant. 1 hit for 1 wound. It's not going to cut it, is it? So 3 more poison. Puts us on 13 poison. Is this going to be the point the Bile Giant dies? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 13 dice. I think that's it. I think that's it, isn't it? So that would take 1 away. But we've just taken 5 wounds, which puts us on 33. So dead. Poisoned to death. The Bile Giant poisoned to death. Who would have thought? So new champion. That's a really big surprise to me, but yeah, it is a surprise. But it is now a champion. The Gastral Tyrant. And I think the only really real reason is because of the way we're handling the defense rolls, in that we're not giving anyone any defense rolls. So the poison just ticks up and up and up and up and up. Without that, I don't think the Gastral Tyrant stood a chance. I think it was just going to get absolutely pasted. I think that obviously plays to fighting something which is low damage, you know, sort of builds up over time or whatever, because if it's a quick fight, the poison's just not going to be able to do enough damage to, you know, tick away. Not going to get build up high enough to consistently be ticking over for a lot of damage each turn. But anyway, yeah, we've got a new champion, the Gastral Tyrant. We shall see how it does in the future death matches.